Alright. This is a point 0.5, the previous video I did for my Comic Corner. Classic / non-classics. I didn't get time to it because I had to rush to go use the bathroom and answer the front door. So that's the reason we do this here. Basically, I'm going to give my final thoughts on Chuck Dixon's run for Birds of Prey. Because with that last video, I pretty much finished up reviewing his run for Birds of Prey. I gotta admit, it was a good run. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not a bad issue the entire run. And you can feel, basically, read about what you mentioned on the podcast with the Bruce Wayne Murder, Abuse, and Fugitive crossover, is that this was a crossover. The reason why it came out the way it did was because, well, this is also one of the primary reasons why he left DC Comics. Because this was driven by a writer, not an editor, a writer who was in charge of this. I don't remember who it was. And by this, there was a Bat conference they had, Bat Summit, where they got to the end of the Bat conference and they didn't bother to solve who killed Vanessa Fairchild. Like, apparently she was not really supposed to be the character killed off here. It was somebody else. They had to bash Fairchild for reasons unexplained, and he mentioned also that by the time they got to the park, they'll just figure out basically. He's like, no, wait, stay do extra work. Yeah, because by the end of that time, they couldn't decide who the freaking murderer was. Because clearly it wasn't Bruce Wayne. They couldn't decide, so Chuck had to basically tell him, wait, let's finish this first, then we can go. And it was going to be David Kane. And this is one of the primary reasons why he left DC at the time, because he was getting so frustrated at DC Comics. The fact that the editors, the guy who replaced Denny O'Neil, clearly wanted the writers at their throats during the course of this storyline. Also down with something else altogether. But it felt as though like Bob Schreck did not know how to basically be a good editor. Like, you're supposed to have cohesion, good flow between the writers. Bob Schreck, the way that Chuck Dixon described him, is that he apparently did not want to do that. It's like he was for having their writers at each other's throats. And I'm like, why the heck would you do that for? Oh, and as punishment for his terrible job at being an editor, for a lot of it anyways, they named a freaking prison after him. Yes, the Shrek. Though, I do agree with this opinion when it comes to him. Oh, good. He's going to be there. Yeah, Devon Deli's apparently going to be a Center for Comic-Con. Awesome. So, basically, like, I do agree with this decision, adding Brubaker, but his run was something else altogether. Because at first, basically, they replaced whoever was writing Batman prior to Larry Hama. Because Larry Hama, was the writer of Batman. And originally, Chuck was going to be the writer of Batman, but since Larry Hama's name came up, he did not want to deny his opportunity to write Batman, purely because this is the guy who got his first job. He wanted to pay him back, become a job in Batman. And he succeeded. Greg Rucka on the book. I think Rucka moved over to Detective after No Man's Land. Yes, I believe he did. And Larry Hama came on the board, and with Scott McDaniel, like, he happy work Scott McDaniel again, but with Larry Hama thinking, he just had to pass on it. And he has mentioned that what happened was that the reason why Larry Hama left after a short period of time was because he and Scott McDaniel could not get along. That was the main reason why. There was no chemistry between the two of them. And they got replaced at Brubaker, which he said he was sort of indifferent with. If you want a basic explanation, look up on Chuck Dixon's podcast. Yeah, and Brubaker I actually like Brubaker's run. And it's actually in trade. Yep, the whole run's in trade. I think he skips a couple issues, but yeah, the whole run's in trade. I think he skips like 2 issues, I think it is. Skips like 87 to like, I think it was like 587 to 590. I think this was the Brian K. Vaughan issues. No, 587 was Officer Down. 588 was Brian K. Vaughan. And 589. And I think 590. Yeah, this is a three-part done by Brian K. Vaughan. That was basically where you can find it in Batman by Brian K. Vaughan and False Faces. Yeah, and then basically continued for a bit until he left with issue 607. Oh yeah, and 600 collected 3 stories. Oh, it was the stories not appear in Bruce Wayne Murder, New Edition, and Bruce Wayne Fugitive. It was the other stories that had nothing to do with Bruce Wayne Fugitive. I'm like, that's actually a really smart idea to do that. To basically put all the other stories that had nothing to do with the story itself. Put it in its. It says here just so it's collection did not appear in the Bruce Wayne Murderer stuff. Yeah, and I mentioned in my review for my review volume 2 that the next thing that came after 607 was the Batman Hush storyline, which I enjoyed that one. But in the case of Birds of Prey itself, who took over for Chuck Dixon? Because he left issue 46. Terry Moore. But Amanda Conner did the arc for the next 2 issues. I'm looking forward to discuss this one because this is a very interesting era for Birds of Prey. Like, between Dixon before Gail Simone took on board, there was a period of 9 issues not done by him. So, next time we discuss this book, it'll be the end of this volume. Then we're discussing volume 2. And that's it, Birds of Prey. Yep. Actually, no. It'll be first Oracle the Cure. Then it'll be... Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, that's all I'm going to discuss here, but next Comic Corner... Yeah, there's another one. That'll be something different. It will not be Robin and Birds of Prey. It's Green Lantern and Supergirl. Which these issues are going to be quite something to talk about because it'll be as much as Birds of Prey, but it'll be a good chunk. Okay? Thanks for you.